When you're dealing with infidelity, there's something called the spillover effect that, at least that's what I call it. And what it basically encapsulates is, this struggle that you're walking through, this infidelity, this addiction, this is not a fight that you're having to wrestle with in life. I'm pretty confident for each and every one of you, it is the fight that you're having to wrestle with. Because if you don't heal from this infidelity, it's going to affect every issue in your life. If you can't heal from the infidelity that either you have brought on to your own life or your spouse has unfortunately and regrettably brought into your life, you'll never be able to really overcome, sexual issues in your marriage or financial issues in your marriage or parenting or understanding how to parent appropriately or debt or all of those things. Because if you can't overcome and heal from the infidelity, that's going to spill over into every other issue within your marriage and family. For many people, and unfortunately, I would say 80% of the time it's the unfaithful spouse treats the crisis of infidelity as a side issue. Believe it or not, it's very common for some betrayed spouses to do that as well. It's not a huge percentage, but there is a very small percentage that says, well, we'll kind of deal with that, but we've got these other issues. It's not a side issue. It is the issue. I promise you, if you can heal from infidelity, you can heal from anything. There's been several times I have said to Samantha over the last, 6 or 7 years, we've been in recovery almost 14, but just over the last 6 or 7 years, we've had some really monumental difficulties, from health issues to financial issues to some family struggles, where I've looked at her and said, look, graciously, look at what we've come through. Look at all that we have been healed of. You're telling me that we can't overcome this? We had some serious issues due to the recession with the IRS. I'm laughing now. I wasn't laughing when I got my tax bill that I was unable to pay and had to do an installation agreement over several years when we lost everything. But I remember saying to her over the kitchen island at one point, honey, look, I know this is a lot of money. I mean, this is scary. But you're telling me that we can't overcome, these several digits of financial debt when we have seen our marriage and our family resurrected from the dead? There's no way I'm going to let this financial debt ruin me or ruin us. Look at all we have had to wrestle through. Eventually, I started to laugh at the IRS debt, but Samantha never did. But Samantha did keep it in perspective that if we can heal from one of the grossest moral failures that we had ever experienced, how much more can we overcome and conquer financial issues or physical intimacy issues or parenting struggles? Let me just tell you, right where you're at, this is the issue. It can't be a side issue. It has to be in the forefront of the windshield of your life. Now, with great sobriety, I understand that infidelity and the emotions associated with infidelity will make you do things that you never thought you would do. I mean, I'll never forget the time I was at Costco one day, and I was so stressed and so angry and so out of control emotionally, meaning I felt so helpless. I had headphones on, I was listening to music, I was trying to just get through the shopping trip, and I remember you ever work yourself up into a frenzy? And I had remembered that Samantha had always told me, put my shopping cart back. And I was so furious this day. I was furious at how out of control I felt to the situation because she wasn't responding to what I wanted her to do. And I'll never forget, in the middle of Costco, saying, I'll put my shopping cart, and running across the parking lot of Costco. And there was, 4, 5, 7 other shopping carts kind of put together in the holster. And I ran so fast, and I remember slamming the cart into all the other carts and lining them up perfectly and ramming them into the chain. And I remember walking away, stomping my feet, yelling to myself while people looked at me, and I was a crazy person. I mean, I just lost it. And there was thousands of other moments like that. I do remember a time, to keep the playing field a little bit level, where I had the whole family, and the car was filthy, and I decided I was going to go wash it at one of those hand car washes. And I got out, I started to do it, and Samantha said, "What are you doing? That's not how you wash the car. You need to wash it from the top down." And I looked at her like a crazy person. I was like, "Are you really telling me how to wash the car?" "Yes, you need to wash it the right way. That's not how you wash it. It's still going to be dirty." And I remember, thank God I was calm, but I remember looking at her going, "You're off the rails." And to this day, there'll be moments where I'll say, "Do you want me to wash the car from the top down?" It's hilarity for me. Infidelity will make you do things you never thought that you could do because you were in the fight of your life. That's why it's so hard, it's so difficult, it's so challenging. It pushes you to do things you never thought you would do, feel things you never thought you would feel, and sometimes respond in ways that you never thought you would respond. I was talking to a gentleman just this morning. We were texting, and he was telling me a story of how his wife kind of mocked him in his, recovery efforts, or kind of who he was. I don't want to give away the details, but there was just a moment where his wife kind of made fun of him in just kind of an angry moment, and it really struck him to the core. And I remember moments where Samantha maybe did the same thing very early on. It wasn't very often at all, but there were a few times. And I remember having to be able to encourage myself. If you come from faith, you'll understand the moment in the Bible where it says David had to encourage himself in the Lord. And if you don't come from faith, you've probably heard the understanding or the concept of self-talk, or just encouraging yourself. There's been so many moments that I, as an unfaithful spouse, have had to encourage myself. This isn't a pity party, but mostly because there wasn't really a lot of people there to encourage me. There was my mentor, but I wasn't around him very frequently. And there was Rick, but I was only seeing Rick maybe once every 2 weeks or so. I had to learn how to encourage myself. I hope and I pray that you can learn how to encourage yourself. Now, I appreciate that so many of you watch these videos for encouragement. Please certainly don't stop. Please keep doing that. It does my heart so good. It's part of my life mission, is to help those who are suffering from the grief of infidelity, whether you've been unfaithful or whether you've been betrayed. But something that will really help you, that helped me, was learning how to encourage myself. I don't mean this weird, corny stuff that's just kind of laughable, but I just mean learning how to affirm myself, learning how to encourage myself. For me, learning how to really pray and really stir inside of me the passion and the courage to move forward in life, even though I had done what I never thought I would do and ruined so much of my life. I'm still worthy of love. I'm still worthy of self-love. I'm still worthy of the calling and the purpose that is on my life. If you don't come from faith, there's something about encouraging yourself, bringing your courage and your passion up to what you need inside of you to face the day, to face the month, to face the year, because you do have a purpose in life. You are not an accident. You haven't just been given this life just to go through it. You are worth more than just existing. And if you can learn how to encourage yourself, both unfaithful and betrayed, it's not going to fix everything. I'm not going to overpromise, but it is going to help you. Because there's going to be dark moments where it's you in your car or you at Costco, and you're going to be alone, and you're going to be despairing. But if you can learn how to encourage yourself, if you can learn how to empower yourself by how you speak to yourself, because part of the only control we have is how we respond. And I'll tell you, when you learn how to respond, it can completely change the dynamic of your own recovery.